Do you want to see what $60,000 worth of debt looks like? Hi, I'm Christy, and I overshare about my debt so you can feel better about yours.
Do you want to know what's scary? Being 55, having $60,000 worth of credit card debt, and having absolutely nothing saved for retirement.
I never realized how much you could buy on a credit card. Guys, free money? Everyone needs to go get a credit card.
All right, so today we're going to be taking a look at credit card debt. You already know what that means. We got a lot of people and a lot of debt, and the stats only seem to get worse each time they're published. Now, this is only in the US, but credit card debt stands at $1.25 trillion. Americans carry an average individual balance of roughly $6,700, while the average household balance is approximately $11,150. The average credit card interest rate, the APR, is around 21.5%, and severe delinquencies have reached their highest levels in 15 years. We have a ton of stuff to go over today, along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's just jump right into it.
Do you want to see what $60,000 worth of debt looks like? Hi, I'm Christy, and I overshare about my debt so you can feel better about yours. This is my US bank credit card, and I have $2,396.08. This is a Citi credit card, and I owe $9,012.20. This is Chase Sapphire. I used to use this card for the travel benefits. Obviously, that's not what's happening anymore. I owe $6,427. This is my Columbia Bank credit card. I owe $4,121.31. This is my Mountain America credit card. I owe $9,143.85. This is my car loan. I owe $12,348.33. And the best one of all, this is a personal loan. I owe $16,799.47.
Oh man. The very first comment makes a good point. How are you getting approved? And I thought my $8,000 worth of debt was bad. That still is a pretty high number, but I guess not compared to 60. I had a panic attack while watching this to create a response. I think I've become numb to it. Now, she had various forms of the credit cards, the loans, the car payments, but one of them people love to get roped in on is the points. She got a specific credit card just for the travel benefits, but then things spiral out of control and she owes thousands on the card, the interest accruing every single month, and whatever points, cashback benefits you got don't matter anymore. I asked you guys in an older video, do you know someone in credit card debt? The first reply to that was me. Do you know anyone who isn't? Yes, me again. My parents, they're in their 70s and haven't done any retirement planning. I expect when they eventually pass, I'll toss the house keys back to the bank and walk away with nothing. That's going to be an increasingly common situation as time moves on, and I was on a group holiday in my late 20s when everyone in the group started dropping how many thousands they owed on credit cards. So much made sense to me all of a sudden. Keep that in mind for a little bit later in the video.
What is one bad financial decision that you regret making in life?
So I got a loan after getting a bunch of credit cards, and now I have a bankruptcy.
Are you going to do a
As
bankruptcy?
a 28-year-old, I got a bankruptcy. I went through it, but it was successful. So
It was successful?
all my debts are gone, baby.
Yeah. How much were you in debt before your bankruptcy?
It wasn't even that much. It was like $20,000.
You only did it for $20,000?
Yeah,
Damn.
but I didn't have to pay shit.
Yeah.
I paid like $3,000 of those 20, and it's gone, and it's
Yeah.
behind me.
Damn. And then what got you in debt in the first place?
Me being crazy,
Yeah.
wanting to drink, go party, and go out.
Yeah. Who told you to file bankruptcy?
My parents.
They said that?
My parents told me to,
They
yeah.
didn't help out. They didn't want to help out with the money, huh?
They were like, why are you going to pay if you can just file for bankruptcy and get rid of it?
Perfect example of somebody just hitting the reset button. And yes, $20,000 is a lot of money, but if this is your type of mentality, you will be in the debt cycle for the rest of your life. You could clearly see with the way she's acting, she doesn't care. There's no difference in attitude whatsoever. She said she was crazy, partying, drinking. That's how she ran up the credit card debt. And what do you think she's doing in this clip? The exact same thing. You could even add on her parents with the lack of financial literacy. This one kind of sounds like one of the examples that you can't help everyone.
You took a $75,000 pay cut. You bought this house based on the old salary, but then you still decided to build a pool.
Yeah,
How much did the pool cost?
like 120,000. That was just the pool.
What else is there?
Oh, concrete fencing that had to go around to build the pool.
How much
Electrical
total?
panel. Another 100 grand.
When did it start hitting you that you were financially in over your heads?
I think immediately, like, we just weren't thinking about all the other things that were going to be added on.
Where does the money come from for all of these things?
Credit cards.
Really?
Yeah.
And so what happened next?
We ended up taking a personal loan from some family.
How much did they loan you?
$100,000.
Did you run math? Wow, it got extremely silent in here.
I mean,
And they're laughing about it, also roping in their family with their problems. I really don't understand the obsession with pools. Maybe if you bought a house and already had one installed, but you cannot convince me a pool is worth $220,000. I would have to be legitimately ultra rich to even consider it. And with this clip, there didn't seem to be much thought about it whatsoever. Just do it. We'll put it on credit cards. We'll get a loan from our family. When you also took a pretty heavy pay cut before any of this started. Amazing. We got a comment from you guys. Your videos are my scared straight. I watch your videos every week and it really puts things into perspective and keeps me from making stupid purchases. And this is exactly what I hope these videos are to people, showing all the train wreck situations or the horror stories. So if you ever start seeing something similar in your life, you'd make different choices, because especially with this topic along with car payments, this can really affect your life financially for years. I mean, even decades.
How much debt are you in?
25,000.
Okay, what kind of debt is that? Break it down.
Credit card bills, unpaid, like miscellaneous stuff like a medical bill from a doctor's visit.
Okay,
things of
so
that
some
nature.
medical bills and credit cards. What about any car loans or student loans?
No, I don't have a car and I got a scholarship for school.
How'd you get into all the credit card debt? What happened?
I was able to get my first credit card. I started spending, but then I was spending, but I wasn't paying my balances. So then I racked up a lot of debt, but now I'm paying it back.
Okay, how many cards is that across?
I want to say like 3.
Is it like 20 grand? And what's the total balance for all the credit card debt?
About 15.
15 in credit card debt. Okay, another 10 in miscellaneous.
Yeah.
What's your plan to pay all the credit card debt off?
Save up some money and then pay the payment every month, get another job so I can just pay it off.
But that really is easier said than done in today's world. I don't have to remind you about the horrible job market and the low pay. Even the $15,000 in credit card debt, the 20 or 30% interest rate, does not mess around. And I mean, I will say, at least they're trying to pay it off, because we got a ton of clips of people just not caring.
Oh, how do you travel when you're so young? I just don't understand. How do you save? I haven't looked at my credit in 6 months. Getting the emails. I'm getting the notifications that my credit is changing, but have I looked at it? No. Last time when I quit my job and traveled for 8 weeks, it took me 6 months to pay off that trip, and guess what? It was worth it.
I have $30,000 in credit card debt. When they call, I say I can't pay it back yet. And tomorrow, I may buy myself a dining room set. Or this Boba Fett.
My favorite thing about marriage is how my wife and I regularly discuss how we should stop spending so much money, and then we continue to just spend so much money.
When you prepay for a vacation or a concert or something like that several months in advance, and then it comes time to actually go on that trip or go to that show, at that point, it is completely free, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
Yo, I never realized how much you could buy on a credit card. Guys, free money? Everyone needs to go get a credit card.
We could legitimately sit here for hours just watching clip after clip like this. And people wonder how banks run everything in the world. This is why. They'll get you in a debt cycle and you'll be paying every single month until you're in the grave. Even with all the other arguments, I'm not going to pay anymore, what are they going to do? We have an entire series on this channel, people getting sued for their credit card debt. And then the other big one, bankruptcy, like we saw with the earlier clip. If you don't change your mentality and spending habits, you're going to get into the exact same situation. Going over to the comments, if you think credit cards are free money, you shouldn't have one. I'm $20,000 in debt because of this, slowly paying it off, and now I'm in credit card debt. Stop influencing people to get into credit card debt and the bank watching this video. Exactly. And we got a lot more examples up on screen, me saying that's not bad to a $52,000 car, knowing I have $1.69 in my bank account and unpaid Afterpay. When I was at the dealership buying my car, I had $50 in my account. The note's still getting paid one way or another until one day it's not. And we have a repossession series on this channel because of it. The first payment isn't due for 30 to 90 days. That's future me problem. For real, and my 548 credit score. That car loan must be absolutely brutal. Better yet, can I use Afterpay to buy a car? LMAO, but we love Afterpay. Seriously. Putting myself in timeout because I pretend my student loans don't exist attitude just knocked me down to a 540 credit score. I used to be 730 something in the student loan loan shot me down to a 496 until you're forced to move and nobody will rent to you. A lot of places do run credit checks now and that'll hurt you. Went from a 780 to a 550 for this exact reason. 450 2026 is my lock-in year though? I hope so. When my boyfriend keeps asking where I get the money to buy more clothes, but my 6 Afterpays are due in 3 days. I don't have enough funds to pay them. My Affirm was at $800 a month for almost 6 months. Klarna, Afterpay, and Affirm are my personal hell. I'm never getting away. I asked my husband for gas money and spent $100 on Aerie the same night. The fact that many of us are living the same life. Does anybody else turn the brightness down on their phone when paying with Klarna or Zip in store? So you know that it's embarrassing, but you're still doing it anyway. Chase introduced Pay in 4. I'm cooked. I have a ton of credit card debt, but I'm very happy with my stuff. That's how we have the overconsumption series as well. Paying back Cash App and seeing the amount available to borrow again. Me using Afterpay and Klarna to avoid spending $100 at once, but then end up owing like $200 bi-weekly. That's how they get you. Painting over my credit card because I don't know how not to use it. One time I tried leaving my card at home so I couldn't buy anything. I just Apple Paid it. Great. Another person just says we are devolving. Unfortunately, I have it memorized. Another person saying I have it memorized so it wouldn't work for me. Praying we never share a bank account because how do I explain my Afterpay, Klarna, Affirm is more expensive than our mortgage? It just keeps going. I need someone to reassure me that $500 on Afterpay isn't that much. It is. I owe Klarna $570, Affirm $900, and credit cards like $9,000. And we got a comment from you guys that goes well with this. Most are ruining their 20s, rebuilding in their 30s, and starting over in their 40s. Don't let that be you. Because the hard truth is, if you're restarting your financial life in your 40s, with how bad things are getting, it will be extremely difficult to be able to retire in the future. So I hope all those random purchases were worth working forever.
What's the total household debt?
Over 100K, easy. If you count the cars. Are you counting cars or not counting cars?
Is it a debt?
Well, yeah.
Then I'm counting it.
I don't know how much debt he's in. So
What? Is your husband? Why don't you know anything about what's happening in the house?
I just don't handle it.
It stresses her out.
You know, it's going to stress you out when it gets absolutely worse because you're not involved in the conversation in any way. 107 is what you say?
Yeah.
Okay, 178. That's how much bad debt you have. How does that make you feel?
Not great.
I think 90 of that's car, correct? Or 100 of that's car.
100's car?
Yeah.
Something tells me that they're nowhere near financial stability enough to buy a $100,000 car. Along with only one person in the relationship knowing all the financials, that's just a disaster and a breakup or a divorce down the road.
I used Afterpay on some shoes one time in my life. Never again. I was trying to be fly so bad. 2 weeks later, I had some car going on. I paid for it. I think I'm gravy. Minus 150 right out my account. Woo! I had like $10 left for the week, man. That broke me down.
Me with $1,400 to pay off? This is me with Affirm now. I owe $1,700. You gotta pay it for the rest of the year, so the payments are only like $40. Let's just move on to the next one.
What is one bad financial decision that you regret making in life?
So I moved from Chicago to California with nothing. I had $600 to my name.
Okay.
I had to figure my shit out, so I was working at a literally Ponzi, like a pyramid scheme at one point. And
Right, America?
No.
Something like that.
It was something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, I did that shit for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and I couldn't do it anymore. I was in the middle of like an Inglewood neighborhood, residential neighborhood. And so then I told my mom I couldn't do it anymore. So she's like, just get a credit card and live off that until you find another job. So I did that. And that was back in 2016. And unfortunately, I'm still paying that shit off.
What was the limit they gave you on the credit card?
$15,000.
$15,000?
Yeah.
Okay, and then how long were you living off of that for?
Probably like a good I would say about a year and a half, 2 years, more than likely. And when I say living off that, I mean living my best life.
Yeah, like booking trips and everything?
Yeah, kind of. Low-key, high-key.
Okay, so the more we watched, the worse it got. She went from Chicago to California, one of the most expensive places to live on the planet, with basically no plan and no money. And her version of figuring it out is just putting everything on a credit card. But not only the necessary expenses, food, rent, whatever, I also had to live my best life and take trips. So now, literally 10 years after that, you're still paying it off. Unbelievable.
Oh.
I love this card.
Clearly. I don't know if I've had a credit card that has a balance this high before. This is actually insane. The interest alone is charging at $665.42 on a monthly basis. That's insane.
That's why we're
I've
drowning.
never had that. No, that's not why you're drowning. It's because you've allowed the balance to go to $37,875.44.
That's what is like the eye-opening part. How much money we're throwing away in interest every month.
No, it's because you put the balance there. It's not even just the interest. The interest rate, you were the one who chose to spend the money there.
Sure.
It's been maxed out since you opened it. When did you open it?
I think this one's from 2013, 2014, somewhere in there. More than 10 years.
It's been maxed out for 10 years. You've allowed like almost 1,000 hours of...
No, it's had credit limit increases as my
you just
career
boosted
has
immediately?
changed. Yeah, a lot of times, I'd say it's 50-50. Like sometimes they just do it and they're like, we reevaluated your credit line. Here's more credit. Usually after I pay off a significant chunk, they're like, here, have more credit.
And then you immediately spend
I'm like the optimal.
You're okay with this?
No.
I don't know. It does seem like you're kind of okay with this. And he is the optimal customer when it comes to banks. This goes perfectly with another comment from you guys. That's why these companies give higher limits. They gamble to see if you'll spend it all, and the house always wins. There you go. Almost $38,000 on a single credit card.
Way more people are in credit card debt than you can even fathom. And I'm talking large amounts of debt. Next time you feel really bad about not being able to attend a festival or have some sort of experience or have a luxury item because you don't have the money, just remember that most of these people that you know are borrowing money to get it, okay? Once upon a time in college, I lived in this huge shared living situation, which was a total nightmare, okay? There were like 1 million people in the house, and I'm not even exaggerating. And there was this one girl I lived with that would literally travel out of the country to go to concerts multiple times a month, and she would like always get barricade, and she always had these huge shopping hauls. But then other people in the house informed me that like she was actually in $30,000 of credit card debt, and she just didn't give a And one time I talked to her about it, and she was like, my parents have declared bankruptcy 5 times, like money isn't real. I was like, okay, bro.
Now, I feel like that was an over-exaggeration, but yet another example of an entire family being financially illiterate. Going over to the comments, total debt is currently $260,000. For anyone feeling bad, I'm $50,000 in debt at 27, including my car. I have $4,000 in credit card debt and $14,000 in student loans. And I remind myself constantly that compared to most people, that's nothing, but it's still a good amount of money, 18 grand. I'd like to have an extra $18,000 in my bank account. I don't know about you. And we got another person saying, I know, I'm a banker. I can't imagine some of the stories those bank tellers have. We got another one up on screen just saying, I'm in so much debt. Literally 21 and over $20,000 worth of debt, $26,000 at the age of 25. Me sitting with my $2,000 in credit card debt. I have $6,000 in debt, $30K in student loans and have no degree. Another person just says, ignore it. And the creator saying, you're so right, queen, until they serve you and you have to go to court. And once I get my money, I don't want to pay it because it's basically wasting money. But you were completely fine spending it when you didn't have it in the first place. I'm 23 and I'm at $22,000. The comments just went on and on. But we could switch over to the next clip that I find very interesting.
Don't feel too bad about your credit card bill. I'm at $79,521, which isn't bad. And I have like $4K due next week. I don't feel like paying anything off yet, so let's see how bad it gets next week or something.
Okay, so if you've seen my second channel, we've gone over this creator a long time ago because this is someone who has an entire social media presence just spending a ludicrous amount of money. Apparently, they got 1 million designer purses, they're taking vacations all the time. However, a lot of people found out that she was faking a bunch of it. She would make videos showing hauls of all the sneakers and purses in a big closet, and then people ended up finding out that it was actually her friend's closet, not hers. Same thing with some Instagram posts as well, going on vacation, taking photos of them looking away from the camera so you didn't actually see who it was, and people could easily trace that she wasn't the one in the pictures. So it's a very odd situation, you know, being nonchalant about almost $80,000 in credit card debt, but then also faking a lot of your wealth online. You really cannot trust anything you see on social media anymore. But we'll go over to some examples that are pretty recent problems.
$20,000.
$3,500. 7 racks a ticket.
My tickets were $1,350.
They bought $4,300.
My best
best friend found me an amazing seat that is close to courtside, so I'm really excited.
We were about to buy some
Unfortunately,
tickets.
we're not going inside the game tonight because they're a little bit out of our price range. We tried to buy some and we added 3 to our cart, and then
Came out to about $25,000. So we won't be attending today.
Okay, so at least for that last example, that was a reasonable response. And when it comes to the Knicks, I know that there were a bunch of people, all the celebrities LARPing as huge Knicks fans, but there were still definitely normal, everyday people there spending way more than they should have. You could also be talking about the World Cup that's currently happening right now, spending thousands and thousands of dollars to see group stage games. Any of the higher up stuff, the semifinals, the finals, are in the tens of thousands of dollars. I enjoy sports like most people, but it can not be worth that much money, especially when you find out how long it's actually going to take to pay off.
I used to be a broke shopaholic, and this is the story of how I got my financial together. I had an excessive shopping problem with clothes since I was in high school. Back then, the clothes I was buying were pretty cheap. It was pretty much just thrift stores, and my family didn't really have the means to shop at places like Aritzia or Lululemon growing up. But despite that, I would still come home every weekend with a massive thrift haul. Once I moved away to university and got more independence, the problem got a lot worse. I had a part-time job and was getting money from student loans, but was still spending way more than I could afford. I still remember the first purchase I ever made that felt like I had reached a new level in my shopping habits. And it might not sound that crazy to some people, but for me at the time, it was. It was a pair of Adidas Stan Smith shoes. I think they probably retailed for $120 at the time. But for me, that was the most I'd ever spent on a pair of shoes growing up. This was also the time that I got my first credit card, and throughout university, the balance on that card slowly started to climb. I also studied abroad in Southeast Asia in my third year of university, and I really didn't have the tools to learn how to save for that. So I ended up putting a ton of travel expenses on credit card as well, and that really dug that hole even deeper.
So all of these things start adding up until you get yourself in a terrible situation. Going over to the comments, the thrifting one is what tricks you. I started thrifting and thinking that I was doing good to get my fix, even if it is cheaper overall than going to the mall and buying new clothes. If you really get that much volume, you'll be spending the same amount.
Do not ever, under any circumstances, are you listening? Work for a store, a retail store that sells store branded credit cards, unless you want your entire job to be getting people to sign up for those credit cards. You don't work for the store anymore. You actually work for the bank that's supplying those credit cards to your store to be sold. And they're going to try and make you believe in your soul that it's a good idea for people to sign up for these credit cards. And I need to remind you that it is not. People should not be signing up for these credit cards. The interest rate is insane. Don't let anyone tell you that any reward system makes that worth it, especially when the entire store is marketed to those who are looking to save money. People who are looking to save money should not be putting themselves in debt with a crazy interest rate like that.
Kohl's, Michaels, Ulta, TJ Maxx, Walgreens, Sally Beauty, Dick's Sporting Goods, all work there, and all of those places will hound you for not getting at least one card per day. And if you get suckered in with the pitches, you could take off 10% of your entire order if you get this card, it's a real slippery slope into getting into a ton of debt.
Gen Z, I have found, is kind of spooked by credit cards and going into debt.
So they're so that average is $3,400. The highest is Gen X. Come on, yeah, 40 and 50-year-olds out there. Approximately $9,600.
And with that short clip, we'll transition into the last segment of this video, all of the weird digital marketing course sellers tailored to older people.
Do you want to know what's scary? Being 55, having $60,000 worth of credit card debt, and having absolutely nothing saved for retirement.
So if you've seen any of my retirement videos, we've gone over this a ton because the sheer amount of creators that are all Gen X trying to sell you this course and that mentorship and digital marketing, more than any of those alpha male guys, the day traders, all of them. And with this approach, they're trying to use Gen X's high credit card debt. I'm in the same situation as you. I could help you out. You're never too late for a fresh start, helping Gen X women build their income from their phone. However, you have to buy my course first to do so. Full digital marketing mentorship. Learn digital marketing with mentorship, support, and access to 40 plus income streams. I know I've talked about this a million times, but digital marketing is heavily oversaturated now. All you're going to be doing is giving this person money so they could actually live their lifestyle. They'll give you bare bones information that you could have just Googled for free. And then when you try it out in the real world, you'll find out it doesn't work at all. And you're just out out a bunch of money. So yet again, you can't believe everything on social media, but that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.